Welcome back to another episode of Making Our Way. Today we are joined by a really special person, someone who very dear to my heart, my friend Mary. Mary is a medical assistant. She works at a school where she impacts the lives of so many children. But there's one special person that she really makes an impact on, and that's her son Eddie, who is 14. Eddie is living with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And Mary's story is really about perseverance and love and laughter and really fighting for everything that Eddie needs and doing what she can to make sure that he doesn't miss out. She really wants one thing for Eddie, and that's to live a beautiful, full life, not a limited one. And it's an honor to have her here today to share her story with us. Mary, welcome. I'm so glad to see you.
Thank you, Marisa. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the nice introduction. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I love being able to share you with the world and your story. Will you start us by just sharing a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do, a little bit about your family?
Okay. So I'm from Michigan, and it's cold in Michigan. We all know that. So my son Edward is going to be 15 years old on Friday. He was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy between the age of 4 and 5. He was 4 years old. He was getting ready. Couple months, he would be 5. My father noticed it because they used to walk all the time, and he had called me and said, Mary, you need to take this child to the doctor. We went down 2 steps and he's tired. He said 2 steps and he's tired. And I said, okay. So I took him to the doctor. The doctor did an assessment, seen the way my son got off the floor. And he said, I'm going to tell you right now, your child has some form of muscular dystrophy.
Mm. Mary, and that was all in the span of, a very short time frame. Tell me, as Eddie's mom, what went through your mind? How did everything shift for you? Did it shift for you?
Oh, yeah, it did. So when they told me that Eddie had this illness, okay, and I cried. I broke down and I said, wait a minute. I done all the checks. I made sure he went to all his appointments, and nobody's ever said anything. They do a well check. I went to all those appointments, and nothing was said. It changes your life. And I remember calling my brother, telling my brother, hey, he has this. Are you sure he has this, Mary? Yes, I had 3 doctors, all different types of doctor, and they all said the same thing. 2 of the doctors were neurologists. And I cried. Well, what's it going to be like when he gets older? How am I going to lift him? How am I going to transport him? What am I? And my brother said, Mary, calm down, stay in today. Don't be the what ifs. What if this? What if that? And it's hard. And I still struggle with that. It's because your child has this, and it's hard to maneuver with it. And then you have the system, so I might be jumping ahead. Then you have the insurance systems that don't want to cover things. So it's hard.
So for anybody listening who is not really familiar with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, it is what Mary and I will reference because I have a son with Duchenne, as Mary does, is Duchenne is a progressive degenerative neuromuscular disease where our boys lose physical ability over time. And Mary, why don't you tell us a little bit about, you pick up where I just left off. You tell us a little bit about what does that look like for Eddie?
Marisa's right. They do lose a little bit in time. They go down here hill. For Edward, for my son, he he stopped walking when he was almost 12, and every child is different. Even though they're diagnosed the same with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, they're different. Every case is different. And I remember crying when he was 10 and they wanted to get the chair, introduce him to the wheelchair. And the physical therapist told me, why are you crying? And I said, because. She said, Mary, this is a victory because some children, he's just getting fit for the chair for when he gets tired. Some kids are in it full time. So you also, even though I worry about tomorrow, the what ifs, I also need, that's when I have to learn to stay in today, because today he's okay. He's still, yes, he needs a wheelchair for distance, but he can walk. He can stand the urinate. And then maybe in a couple years he can't. So, and that's again, like you said, that's how the disease, the illness is. That's how it is. So he so now, so we did that, and he didn't fully go into the wheelchair till his 12th birthday. Then he was in it full time. Then we were, pushing him in it, moving him in and out of it. And then they get to a point like where he is now, I can't lift him no more.
So, Mary, let's talk about this. I want to talk a little bit more about that experience of the wheelchair and all of the needs and how that impacts you. But I want to go back to Eddie, because you and I talk about this, the idea that um, the wheelchair is a piece of equipment, but it's not who they are. And I know that Eddie is so much more than a 14-year-old with Duchenne. And you you talk about that, like how to let him be a person. So who is Eddie beyond a 14-year-old with Duchenne? Will you tell us about that?
Eddie is a great kid, and Eddie is a normal kid. The only difference, and I always say this, between him and other children is they can walk and he can't. But he's typical teenager. He's got the mouth, just like the teenagers do. He enjoys the same things. He likes to watch, movies. He likes TV. He likes cars. He likes history. He's no different than any other kid. And I always encourage him, because I tell him, because he'll say to me, "Well, mom, so and so, like he's in high school now. He's in ninth grade, and there's a child that's going to have a party. Well, they didn't invite him, and I told him it's okay. He said, "Well, they didn't invite me, mom, because we don't have a way to get there." I said, "No, no, no, don't say that, because we can make a way." And then he says, "Well, I don't think they really wanted me there because of my chair." And I said, "Don't say that, because your chair is a part of you." And I always tell him that, your chair is like your legs. So you don't wanna kick it when you get mad, or you wanna be nice to it. Like, I always tell him that, be nice to your things.
As a mom, though, when you hear that from your son, the idea of being excluded or not being a part of things, um, we think a lot about our kids and the impact on them. As Eddie's mom and as a caregiver, you are Eddie's everything in terms of caring for him and being his rock. What does that do to you?
It hurts me. It does. It hurts me, because, you're looking, we teach everybody, whether you're a female, male, young, old, kindness. Be kind to everybody. I see it plastered all over. I hear it on TV, the radio, everything, my news feed. Be kind to everything, to everyone. And it hurts me because it hurts him. And he gets upset, and it's the truth. Like, they don't have no friends, because no, especially when they're younger, because nobody wants to play with them, because they can't run as fast or they can't jump as high. And it hurts me. There, when Edward was in elementary, there was a little boy that they would be on the playground, and the little boy would just, not even in the same class, but come up to him and push him down,
Oh,
just to push him. And then Eddie would get up and walk his way up, and the kid would see him again standing, and he'd push him again.
mm,
So, that's it. I mean, it's just not right. Kids are cruel, and it hurts me, because I am his mother and I want to
yeah.
protect him. But I also
Mhm.
told him that people will discriminate against you, and they do, and they have.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's interesting you talk about the idea of being kind. And I love that that's what you see on your news feed. I hope we can all have news feeds so that talk more about kindness.
Right.
There's a disconnect though between philosophically people saying be kind to everyone and then how it actually looks in the world and how we treat people and how we view people. What what do you want the world how do you want the world to see your son, to see Eddie? What do you think is important for people to understand?
Whoo, now you're gonna make me cry. um, I want them to see Eddie, not see what he's in. Not see, I mean, and I feel that way about everybody. Look at the person. It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter that, you're sitting in a wheelchair. I want them to see him. He is such a kind soul. He really is. He's got a good heart. He's a good kid. He's a great, and he's a normal kid. He's like every other kid.
I love that. That's beautiful. I know that one of the things that um, has been just a hurdle for you and Eddie is the whole idea of accessibility and being able to get out into the world. Um, Talk to me a little bit about that, about isolation and feeling stuck.
Oh yeah, you do feel isolated. You do, you can't when you don't have the equipment to get anywhere, or even some people don't even have wheelchairs for their children. It's hard. I mean, it makes you feel. I feel horrible at night because it's my job to take care of him, and if you don't have the means, I didn't want to cry, but it's okay. If you don't have the means, it hurts you because as a parent, I don't care if you're male or female, you do anything you can for your kid. Anything you can. I know I would. I know I would. And it just it hurts me because I can't. And then I feel like a failure.
Not only you would marry, you do everything you can for Eddie. What will you share? Because I think this is really, really important. I think when we talk about disability and we talk about accessibility and we talk about the needs of people, when you have a disability and you have needs beyond what people can see, we live in these dark corners of disability where nobody sees us. They don't understand the day to day life. Would you share a little bit about the whole idea of being stuck, being isolated, related to being able to get out into the world once Eddie's in that wheelchair and having or not having a van?
Yeah, he doesn't go a lot of places because I don't have a way to get him there. Um, sorry. He and it affects him because he could, it affects his whole entire being. It affects his grades. It affects his mood. For instance, he was in middle school. He's just now in high school. He was in middle school, and he's in band. I want him to do that. Goes back to I want him to do anything he can. Somebody said to me, he's got a muscle problem. Why does he play the drums? Because again, he's a normal kid, and that's what he wanted to do. He wants to be a drum player in a rock and roll band. But I mean, he he um he couldn't go. So Eddie's good in school. It's hard for him, but he's really good in school. He in band, he was failing band. And I asked the teacher, well, I asked Eddie first. I said, "Hey, why do you have an E in band?" I said, "I was in gym and I was a big kid and I used to get an A, okay? And I couldn't climb the ropes." So he says, "I don't know, Mom." I said, "Are you missing assignments?" No. So I spoke to the teacher because he couldn't go to the concerts. He got an E. And then that's when I said, "Hey, listen, I don't have an accessible vehicle. That's the only reason why he hasn't been to the concerts." I mean, and it makes it hard. And then they tell you, well, there's transportation out there, there's city buses. That's wrong. Yes, there are city buses out there, but they want you to prove that your child's disabled, in order to get a ride to the appointment. They want a doctor's letter stating that he has a disability. I guess the wheelchair's not enough, but it's okay.
Let's talk about that, about the hoops that you have to jump through. So Eddie's in a wheelchair. You request accessible transportation from the city or from the school, and you have to prove it. Talk to me a little bit about that. What it takes to get basic support for Eddie.
Yeah, you when you call transportation for, like I said, for the city buses, they want proof. When I call and I ask for I need medication, or I'd like to get a shower chair. Oh, well, we need proof from the doctor. We need a letter from the doctor stating that he needs a shower chair. So it's just not worth it. So you know what I did? I went on Marketplace and I found a brand new shower chair. I mean, and that's terrible that I have to submit documentations to get anywhere for a disabled child, and that's a child, and it just it upsets me. It hurts me is what it does. Let's say that. It hurts me because as a person, no matter he does have the disability, but as a person with a disability, it should be more out there for him, especially children.
Yeah, we have to work harder to get access to things that are just basic human needs. Um, what does it do to you? Because I know you work full time. You're a single mom. You're the primary sole caregiver for Eddie. How do you juggle the needs of a caregiver just for meeting Eddie's needs? How do you do that, Mary?
It's hard, I pick my battles with Eddie. You know, some days he doesn't want to shower, and I don't have the energy to argue with him. And I tell him, "Well, take care of your personal hygiene, son." I mean, it's hard, and I put myself on a back burner. And I know they say you shouldn't, I know that. But he's my world. He's my whole life. He's my whole life. I even told the bus company, right? Eddie he wants to go to Greenfield Village. All right. And we had a pass for Greenfield Village. But I have a friend that works there and stuff, so we can get the free passes. But we had an actual pass, and I couldn't use it because I couldn't lift him anymore to put him in and out of the car. So I mean, I apologized to the person that gave it to us. I offered money back to the person. No, it's okay, Mary. It happens. It happens. But you know, it hurts me. And I even told the bus company one time, please pick us up. I was crying. Please pick us up. He really wants to go to this. I'll pay you. What do you want? I'll give you $50. Is that what you want? I get paid Friday. I told them that. And they said, no, man, we can't take no money out of the phone. I do whatever you want me to. I'll take it out of a bill money. I don't care. I just want to make sure he's there.
Mary, how do you as somebody who you are so loving and you're so wise and you're so diligent, you're doing everything that you can, and yet you're still faced with these roadblocks, and some like what you just described are quite frankly ridiculous roadblocks. How do you reconcile that with like the world and all the privilege and access that so many people have, and then so many people are struggling and going without and suffering? And how do you wrap your head around that and stay whole and have a smile on your face?
It's hard. I don't like Eddie to see. Eddie knows I cry. He's seen me cry before. And when I get like too emotional, I gotta walk out of the room or something or say something funny. It's hard. It's hard. I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah. Where do you find the strength on those days when you don't think you have any left?
Eddie, I get it from him, because I know and I'm gonna tell you, as a caregiver, we all get frustrated. He's called me in last night 15 times to reposition him. Mom, yes, baby, my pillow's not right. Okay, I'll be right in. So then I fix the pillow. About 10 minutes later, I get a call back. Mom, yes, baby, my pillow's hurting. And here's me. I'm tired. You know, I'm tired. I want to go to bed. It's like 9:30. We start at 9 o'clock, but we don't go to bed till almost 10. But it's hard. It's hard because it's demanding. But I don't care. I'd walk through fire if you told me I want you to walk through fire for your kid to be well or just have a little bit of a better life. I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat.
No, I know you would. I understand that. I know you would. You've been in this world of rare disease of Duchenne for some time now. What do you wish you would have known when Eddie was diagnosed? What do you wish someone would have told you?
Somebody asked me, said, Mary, if you knew Eddie would have this, would you still do this? Oh, yeah. in a heartbeat. But you know what? I'd be better prepared. So that's what I wish I would have been told, is to be better prepared. And why I mean by that, like when you first get the diagnose, like I did the research. I went to the library because I didn't know nothing about it. The only thing I knew about Duchenne was Jerry Lewis telethon, and my family worked it. That's the only thing I knew about it. So I did research. I went to the library. I read books. I took notes. I printed out things. I have a whole stack in my room still of all about Duchenne, about their walking, about their ability to not walk, about the cough assist. So it's a lot of information. I wish somebody I could have met somebody like you. And that's the truth. That's going through this, really. Because it's okay for a doctor to tell you, oh, yeah, your child's going to do this, this, and that, and they don't live past their teens. But when you have a real person that says, hey, it's okay, you got this, it's going to be good days and bad days. And that's why I wish they had someone like you, another parent, whether it be a male or female, that's gone through this, because you give me hope that I know, when like I said, when Edward got diagnosed, they said he wouldn't live past a certain age, and he's getting ready to celebrate his 15th birthday. So, I mean, in meeting people that says, hey, Mary, it's okay. Hey, well, did your son do that? Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. So that's what I wish I would have knew.
How do you take care of yourself? Like, as a just a human, just marry the person.
Some days, I'll tell Eddie, hey, like Friday nights, I tell him that's my time. Like, this is your time. I'm in the house. I don't go anywhere. I'm in the front room in a recliner watching Netflix. I just ask him, give me an hour or two, couple hours, and just let me recharge. And he does.
I love that. And you know what, Mary, I think that is so important for you to highlight that, because people talk a lot about self-care, and you have to, do self-care. And I always say, like, I know that, but it becomes one more thing on my to-do list and another sense of pressure. Like, oh, I'm even not doing self-care well enough, right? Like, I'm not
Right.
meeting some arbitrary manufactured standard of girls' night out or vacationing in Europe with friends, or, running a marathon or whatever it is. And I think it's so important what you just said, that like sometimes it just looks like an hour where you're like, nobody talk to me. I just want to watch a show for an hour, that it can be available to us and accessible. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because I think sometimes we approach it from this sense of even self-care. We're never doing enough. What would you say is your biggest battle?
I say accessibility for Edward. That's my
Mhm.
biggest fight. Not just for him to be a kid, just to be a normal person. Just be a normal person to where he can go somewhere. Even if he wants to go to the Dollar Tree, to the dollar store, really. I mean, just something so where he can get out and do something. That's the biggest frustration, I believe, for maybe any caregiver. That and maybe the insurance companies refusing to do things.
What do you find most beautiful in what you navigate together with Eddie, the two of you as a team?
His outlook. He said to me, Mom, I'm not going to be able to walk no more, am I? And I said, no, baby, you're not. And he said, well, that's okay. He said, I'll just put racing stripes on my wheelchair. I said, okay. And then he said, I'll get like, what is that called? Oh God, it's called Nas. It's for, what is that called? It's like for racing cars. Okay. And he wants to get this on his wheelchair. But I mean, that's the way he looks. I look at the situation, how horrible it is, which it is, okay? It's sad. It hurts me. It breaks my heart to see him like that. It kills me. It really does. But when he don't look at it like that. And I don't share feelings like that. Like I tell adults, I tell you, I tell my friends, I tell other people that are listening how it hurts me, but I never tell Eddie. The only thing I tell Eddie is he goes, when he asks me that, and I say, yeah, well, maybe it's okay, right? Oh, yeah, Mom, it's okay. I'm going to trick. That's what he said. He's tricking out his wheelchair.
Oh, he's tricking out his wheelchair.
Yes,
Okay, we're gonna put a speed control on his
that's
wheelchair.
right.
Mary, just because you're so wise, what would you what would you say to other parents, caregivers, not even in Duchenne, but maybe a parent who's carrying a heavy burden or is trying to find their way, is trying to figure out how to do something that might be difficult related to parenting, might be a full-time caregiver. What would what would be your words of wisdom
You
to
got
other
this,
people?
baby. That's what I would say. You got this. Don't worry. You will live this. This is going to be you're going to be in this. You're the captain of this vessel, nobody else. So, and
Mhm.
I'll give you a story. I went Friday to the Secretary of State. I had to take care of some business, right? Um, and I was in there waiting in line, and there was a lady there with three children, two small ones, and like an 8-year-old, and the kids were fussing and crying, and she was apologizing. No, baby, don't apologize. You got this, Mama. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. The kids are, it's overstimulating for children. There's a lot
Mhm.
of people in here. They don't understand why they're here. They're children. And if anybody says anything, ignore them. They deserve to be here just like you deserve to be here and we deserve to be here. And that's what
Yeah.
I would tell them. I'd say, because this is hard, any type of anything even an ADHD diagnosis, and they want your child to take medication. It's hard, and I
Yeah.
would tell them, don't, baby, you got this. Saying today, we can do this. We can do this
Yeah.
together, and let them know
Well,
that there's support. Like, I didn't even know that lady, and I said, let me help you. Come on, we
yeah.
got this. I got you. We got this. And that's what I
Yeah.
would say, because it is hard. It is. And I wish somebody said that to me. They did when I met you. But I mean,
Yeah.
I just wanted somebody say that, it's okay.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
this.
Absolutely. We need more Mary in the world, that is for
Yeah.
sure.
No, you don't.
Um, I'm gonna fight you on that one, Mary. You are a bright spot, and gosh, just feel really grateful to know you. So as we wrap up here, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. When you think about how far you've come from the day of from let's say from your 19-year-old self that your mother would have told us stories about
Oh, yeah.
to diagnosis day with Eddie, and now to where you are today. If you think about all of that evolution of yourself and your life with Eddie, when you think about what's coming next, what what do you dream about? What's your dream for the future?
I always wanted to be a mother. Always wanted. I was that kid that would bring home stray things. Even I brought in a couple stray homeless people. My mom would, Mary, don't do that. Um, Edward is my whole world. He's my life. He, you know, he's the reason that I do what I do because of him. I thank God every day. I really do. And I don't want to try to be, like, what do they call that? Bible thumpers or something. But I thank God for Eddie, because if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have had Eddie. Everything happens for a reason, and I believe that. And I tell Eddie, I ask him, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a famous YouTuber. Oh, I said, well, well, don't you want to go to yeah, don't you want to go to college? Oh, not really, Ma. And I said, baby, even if you want to be a YouTuber, you got to have some type of background in that, like communications or something. But I, they asked me, and I had an aunt ask me a long time ago when Eddie was little, um, you happy with your life? Oh, yeah, I am. Everybody wishes they had more money. I'm happy with what I have because I have Eddie. I have Eddie. And I just want to give him the best life I can give him because he's such a great kid. And I tell him, God picked him for me. God knew that I like to be a caregiver. I've been doing caregiving since I was a 15-year-old kid, and I've been wanting to do this. I love it. Is it overwhelming some days? Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it is. I'd be lying to you if if I said it wasn't. It is. Are there some days that I go in my room and cry? Oh yeah. Do I come to work and cry some days? Oh yeah. And they ask me, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm just having a moment." Because that's always in your mind about your child, because you're always going to worry. And for the future, I want them just to be happy. I want to do everything I can in my power to make him happy.
Yeah. You got this, Mary. We got it together. You're doing it. You are doing it. So as we wrap up, I just want to ask you just kind of a fun question. If your life was a book or a movie, um, what do you think the title could be?
Mad Hatter. Mad Hatter. Yes, ma'am. Good Lord. I tell you, I met people well, I worked with some people when I got my first job. I met one of my old foremans when I was a 19-year-old kid. I worked at this place for 4 years, and how I was 40 because Eddie was a baby, and I met the foreman at Aldi's of all places, right? And he
Mm,
said, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm great. I'm married. I have a kid." He said, "Wow, Mary, I knew you would come out to something good because when you're young, you act wild and crazy, you know."
yeah.
I can't act wild and crazy now because I'm old. I just act crazy. No, I'm just kidding. But to humor gets me through it. I
Yeah.
come to work and I have to laugh. I
Yep.
mean, I have to laugh because I don't drink alcohol, I don't do any type of drugs or anything like that.
Mhm.
But laughter is my
Yeah.
medicine. I like to make people laugh because it makes me laugh. Because I would cry. I mean, think about it. This is your this is your baby, your kid. I don't care how old they get. Those
Yeah.
are still your babies.
Mary, anything else you want to add or you want to cover or you feel like you want to share with the world?
Just, just that I'd like to speak to other parents, like I said, hey, it's okay. I mean, does this suck? Yeah, it does. It really does. This does suck. And to see your babies hurt like that, oh God, yeah, that sucks. And do you I never question, like Eddie said to me, he cried one time, and I want to say this, it's important. He says, "Mom, why do I have this?" And he was
Mm,
crying. I said, "Baby, this isn't nothing against you. This is not nothing from God. It's not you're not being punished.
mhm.
It's just a hand we're dealt. Like I have
Yeah.
diabetes," I told him. "Should I be mad at God? No, baby. It's just something that happens to me." It's God loves you. He'd never want you to be hurt. You're his child. Like,
Mhm.
I'm his child. I just want him to know that there is hope. That not to be I don't want him to think that he got this as something bad because he didn't.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want to tell other parents you're going to have these type of talks. They're going to tell you that, and it's going to break your heart. And I do cry,
Mhm.
and I do ask God to help them. I pray every night. We pray together for an accessible vehicle, and I pray for my son. I say, "God, please help me to help him."
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's beautiful, Mary. You're such a source of just realness and wisdom and heart and love. And I can't thank you enough for being here. It's always, I mean, you fill my cup every time I talk to you. I feel like I learn and it just makes me feel like we're good for another day.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Mary. It's always so much fun and just so meaningful to me to get to spend time with you. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for listening in. I hope this story doesn't end for you when the episode does. I hope you'll carry this with you and maybe sit with what this story means to you. I hope you'll lean into your own story with curiosity and compassion. And I hope this gave you a soft place to land today. Thank you to PTC Therapeutics, ITF Therapeutics, and Sarepta Therapeutics who believe in the power of shared stories and helped us bring this episode to life with their generous support. Please share this with someone who might enjoy it or someone that you think might need it right now. That is how the beauty of storytelling multiplies. I'll see you next time.